Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Good morning, Blaine, Minnesota. Just outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul. From my eyes, anyways, from my Google Maps view. Not sure if people in Blaine would consider themselves part of the Twin Cities or not. But here we are at the fantastic Four Seasons Curling Club semifinal action. Curve Curling Apparel. U.S. Contender Series. Brundidge Stone just barely hangs on to the 12-foot there. Couldn't quite call it buried. They are going to make use of this corner guard here in the second end. Team Shuster picking up a more or less open deuce. Team Shuster did throw a corner guard, so did let themselves kind of play around a bit with Team Brundidge here. Hit around the guard coming from John Landsteiner. Continues his solid filling in performance at lead. Or I should say filling in the third stones. Lots of hits being called on him. And for a lead who's not playing those shots very often, he's been making them. Making them look easy. Team Brundidge looks like they want to deal with these center guards. Looks like a hit and roll shot. It's going to try and take off this center guard and roll it to the left side of the play from this straight on angle here. On this one pretty hard. Not going to get the roll they're looking for and don't get the run back. It's kind of a worst of both worlds situation there. Couldn't quite get either shot. Colin Huffman looking for a bit of an overlap here. Trying to sit top 8. Get a piece tucked so there's no double takeout. On Landsteiner, great brush to get that piece tucked. Geez, so much late movement on these draw stones. Like, these are very positive releases, very purposeful. What should I say? These players are poking the rock right out to the broom using that arena style release, that inside out release, but they're still getting so much late movement. Tough to judge. Blows another run back by. That would have been a good one to make. The Brundidge stone they were sending forward was available to sit in the house afterwards. It wasn't a Team Shuster guard they were sending back. No. Team Brundidge had their own stone available to promote there. Could not make it happen. So Team Shuster is going to be able to reset this guard. This time the color will be red. So a favorable rock for rock trade for Team Shuster here. A missed run back, a made guard. It's going to improve their scenario. Third rock thrower, Timothy Hodek. In the saddle here. Going to try a double takeout. The Shuster guard does not quite curl far enough. Gets them going. Well done. Big opportunity capitalized on there, Team Brundidge. Those two rocks were in really good position in the top of the house. Punishes Team Shuster for that missed guard. Colin Huffman will attempt a soft weight, hit and stick. Maybe a little flop inside would be good. Just occupying the top of the rings here is going to be satisfying enough. Big shot by Team Brundidge there to clear off the Shuster stones in the forefoot. Occupying that zone is going to be a satisfying result. Forcing Team Brundidge to about a 5-foot hit and roll. Pretty difficult to execute perfectly, which is what they'll need to do if they plan on hiding their stone from Team Shuster. Trying to build a multi-score end here. It's Team Brundidge. Gets the hit, starts to flop. Timothy wondering why we weren't sweeping that. Needed to get that rock further over into the 12-foot behind the corner guard. It's going to leave this stone wide open. Another hit and roll opportunity going to be available for Chris Plies. Have to roll this one about 4 feet. Chris Plies' first stone here in the second end. Without hammer. Not facing a lot of danger. Sticks it right on the lid. I'm not sure if they're even in the rings there. Let's get the overhead, see if we can... I don't know if they are, but it's not going to matter too much. Team Brundidge is going to want to score here. They're not satisfied with the blank, and with 2 guards in play, Team Shuster would always have a chance to get one tucked around behind a guard somewhere. Jed Brundidge, first stone here in the second end with hammer. Trying to bury one, see if they can't get a score of 2 going here. Tie this game against Team Shuster. Sweepers laying off now after they went for most of the stone's path. Hoping they didn't oversweep this thing. Yeah, it's right on the tee line. Not bad. Definitely a few feet deeper than they would have hoped for. Still a pretty good spot. It's going to require a pretty precise shot from Chris Plies to force Brundidge to 1. In fact, there may even be an opportunity to sit right on the lid. Maybe get a steal going here. Colin Huffman on this one hard. They definitely don't want to wreck. Better to tap a little further than wreck on the guard. Switching sides now. Looks like a really promising shot coming in. Beautiful sweep. Really well read by Colin Huffman. He's been on it all tournament long. Asking a lot of Colin, sweeping 5 rocks by himself in this 3-piece Shuster team. Skipped John Shuster. Bit of a unexpected situation. Had to return home, help out with the family. COVID quarantine situation. That's all I know about that. It will be the three players for the rest of the playoff Sunday here. Functioning quite well as a team. I've been covering their last few games. Some early leads. They've scored at least 2 points in the first end. Their last 3 games, scoring 4, 3 last game, and then a deuce to start things off here. So that's put Colin Huffman and Chris Plies in a position where they're throwing a lot of big weight. Something that they do very well. A comfortable defensive style of game. John Landsteiner making his first 3 shots look easy as per usual. One of the most consistent lead rock throwers in the world. It's going to be a tough fight for Team Brundidge here. You need to string a lot of precise shots together in a row to force the degree of difficulty higher for Team Shuster, who seems to make every reasonable shot that's called. Looking for a pick here. Might have some hopes of a blank. Jed Brundidge can throw that rock hard. 1 and 2. They clear the rings. Beautiful shot. Looks like the rock in the top of the 12-foot might be biting. I think that indication is that it's in the rings. Makes you wonder if there wasn't a way to tap Chris Plies' rock back, maybe score 1 that way. But I think we'll see who lines up to throw here. I think that's another steal. It is. Well, actually, we don't know. If it was a blank, Shuster would be throwing first anyway. We'll find out when we come back.
sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch. The Roaring Game. We all love it, but sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. Don't get stuck in your curling club this year. Learn the game inside and out. Play for your favorite country and take the curling world by storm. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
On. Welcome back, third end. It was a steal of 1 for Team Shuster. That top rock in the 12-foot ended up biting. Makes me wonder, Jed Brundidge's last shot. He made it perfectly. That's exactly what they were trying to do. Pick those 2 rocks out and roll out of the rings. I figured it was a shot for a blank. But with Shuster stealing 1, makes me wonder why Team Brundidge didn't try something into the 4-foot. They were going to give up 1 point anyway, no matter what, unless they tried something with weight and jammed it somehow. But yeah, it makes me wonder why Team Brundidge didn't go for a single point there. Anyways, these guys are some of the best teams in America and really therefore the world. And I'm sitting at home in my living room in Regina, Saskatchewan. So I would trust them over me as far as decision making goes. I am just a simple fan with access to these cameras and audio-visual technology, bringing you the semifinal from Blaine, Minnesota. Enjoying some curling on a fine Sunday morning. Putting 3 stones in the rings. Team Shuster, I've been watching this the last 3 games. Team Shuster with a lead. Not attempting any corner guard ticks or anything like that. Just solidifying their presence in the front of the house. Doing what they can to make a bit of a mess for the opposing team with hammer to clean up later. The opposing team with hammer usually throwing at least 1, sometimes 2 corner guards. And putting a 3rd stone in the rings behind their corner guards. And if they can successfully do that, Team Shuster has been chasing the shooter, the rock in the rings. And if that shooter is too far buried, then they usually take off 1 guard, not going for double peels, not creating any risky scenarios, just taking 1 guard off at a time, forcing their opponent to make difficult shot after difficult shot after difficult shot. It's the cool, confident way to play as a team that when you know that you're more experienced, ranked a little higher, ranked quite a bit higher than most of the other teams out here. It's the strategy to play. Making sure you're not giving up a big end, limiting the damage to 2 points if the opponent is going to make almost every shot. Tried and true strategy that Team Shuster's been putting on display here this weekend. Second rock thrower, Cameron Rittenauer, trying to get around their corner guard. Oh, I think they got just a little kiss off the back of it. It's going to straighten it out, actually, a little bit. That's a nice shot behind the corner guard. Forces Chris Plies to skate out. Place the broom next to that corner guard, and Colin Huffman will be chucking bomb number 1 of likely many big weight shots this end. And that is a big weight shot. Nice extension from Colin Huffman there. A few struggles on the peels from Colin. He's nosed a couple in the last few games and flashed 1 2 games ago. But other than that, very solid. Really, that's just me finding any kind of weakness I can think of with this really strong Shuster team, playing very well with 3. Attempting a freeze, tap back type shot, giving up on the idea of guarding on the corner over and over again. They know what's coming if they do that. Team Brundidge, they know that Shuster will be ripping those rocks over and over again. Not that difficult of a shot, especially for Colin Huffman. So opting to come right in, attempt to freeze, tap. They will have to deal with those 3 stones in the forefoot eventually if they want to count. Chris Plies, once again, taking the easy shot, the most obvious open stone. Knowing that they're lying 3 right now and knowing that Team Brundidge is the one that's going to have to make some magic happen down the middle. No need for Chris Plies and Team Shuster to concern themselves with that quite yet. Nice little flop in's going to add another rock to the pile. Just one more stone to remove for Brundidge if they want to count anything along the wings. Looks like they've given up on making something happen on the wings, and they're going to play to the middle here, using what they have, using what Team Shuster has given them. For some kind of corner freeze here. Sweeper's really waiting on this one. Don't want to get caught too late. There is some late movement here. Don't want to give up on this stone. Oh, really unfortunate. Blows it right by. Goes through the hole. Field goal on this football Sunday. My girlfriend from across the room just shook her head at me as to say, nice joke, baby. Good football joke, Rory. Now, these are kind of tough calls to make when things are going so good for you. It's actually kind of hard to figure out how to optimize even further. Usually you're only thinking 1 or 2 moves ahead of the opponent. When you get 2 or 3 moves ahead like this, it's kind of tough. You're not used to seeing this much good in the rings at this point. So just trying to figure out how to further choke off any scoring opportunity here. Oh, just checking out the chat here on the YouTube page. Very active chat. Hello, everyone. Glad you tuned in. 145 watching right now. That's fantastic. Glad to have you with us. Hello, Teresa from Montana. I'm just a few hours north from you in Saskatchewan, so hope you're enjoying this snowy, cold November weekend. This is about the time of year where things kind of snap down to below freezing for the rest of the year. So hope you're bundled up and you got all your winter gear going, Teresa. Oops, sorry if I had the wrong camera going there. I did have the wrong camera. Apologies, folks. With a good sweep, Colin Huffman stone is able to overlap the yellow on the top of the 12-foot. I think that was the main goal of what they were going for with that shot. So I think it's mostly mission accomplished. They were trying to get that stone a little deeper. I think there is some opportunity still on the out turn to lie second shot at least. Couple ways to get into the 4-foot right now for Team Brundidge. there's this wide hit and roll / double kind of thing, but they may save that for a little later. Instead, trying to rework the front of the rings. Looks like he will. Signal that they want to tap their yellow rock forward. Looks like Colin Huffman didn't quite get that rock warped around enough to take away this tap back. So Timothy Hodek, who's been throwing well, just hasn't quite gotten the results out of his shots. Last attempt, a little heavy. In the second end, some disappointing results from his shots as well. Didn't really throw them that bad, like I said. This one curling in nicely. Lots of late finish, especially on this in-turn side. And that's exactly what skip Jed Brundidge called for. Not sure it really helps them that much. It does advance the Yellowstone forward a bit. Does kind of push the Shuster stones back a little bit. So yeah, that's some good work there in a pretty bad looking situation, to be totally frank, from Team Brundidge. Might give the skip some options on his last one. That is a frozen stone on the top of the 12-foot. Very unlikely they're going to count that one. Sitting 5th shot in the top 8th. The idea being that stone's not going to stay there for the rest of the end. Team Brundidge does have an in-turn double to access the button 4-foot area. They also have that straight tap back on the yellow. So it's always good to have 2 options. Your opponent can't guard both. I mean, I guess with a very precise shot, yes, they could take away both, but it's good to know that even if your opponent takes away one, you will have the other to play. So Team Shuster right now just discussing not their options. They're actually discussing what Team Brundidge could be doing. Team Shuster themselves look pretty set up right now. They'd be happy if the end was if Jed was shooting his last one right now. So they're thinking to themselves, how can we maintain this type of situation? One rock more, one shot further. Looks like they've decided on something. Appears to be... This might be a guard. They may be angle freezing the yellow rock to take away the straight tap back. Looks like just a guard. Trying to take away both shots. May have succeeded. Left that guard in a really good spot. That's going to definitely take away the in-turn tap on the yellow stone that Brundidge was hoping to set up for later. And it's also in the way of this kind of in-off double takeout on the in-turn side to access the 4-foot. So that's a really good spot. Might just take away both shots like I was discussing previously. Real good result. Good call, good sweep. Good everything. John Landsteiner trying his hand at calling line from the house as well. So much fun playing with 3 as a lead. Get to try out some new stuff. This is a real tough look for Jed Brundidge. Not a lot of options here. Tough to even find a way that he's going to score 1, let alone give up 2. They might try to manipulate this top frozen stone, maybe get some drag effect out of it, but I just don't. How are you going to clear out more than 2 or 3 stones? It's just hard to imagine how they're going to make this work. Well, Tim's got the broom down. They'll give it a crack. Real tough situation here in the third end for Team Brundidge. Went all out and paid the price. Jed Brundidge, first stone here in the third end. With hammer, trying to rearrange things so he's got a shot for even one on his next one. Oh, they're playing the hole. They're trying to come through this port, see if they can make the tap back. Oh, just tick off that guard of Chris Plies. I think that shot was there. They had to throw it with some weight. They would get it across the face, and they'd be hoping their yellow rock. Here, I'll give you an overhead view so you can see what I'm talking about. They must have been hoping that the yellow rock they were going to tap would catch one of the reds on its way by, or else it may have had too much weight. They would have had to keep it very straight through that port once they got around the top red guard. Shot was probably there. Team Shuster thinks that shot is going to be the easiest. Oh, I've just been booted from production here. Chris Plies, his last shot here in the third end. Looks like a little more weight on this one. Nope, still a guard. They must think that this tap back is the easier of the two shots, the other shot being an out-turn draw to the side of the pin. Might find a way to only give up 2 points here. If you can hit the side of the forefoot, maybe even get a piece of the button, cut Shuster down to 1. And with a perfect draw, we've seen such good late finish, you might even catch enough to score a point yourself. Jed Brundidge looking at another very difficult situation here. Well, that's what happens. You give up 2 points to Shuster in the first end. They're going to start forcing you to make the tough shots. Jed's last stone, third end, with hammer. Seeing if they can get a point here to keep the game within reach. It would be a big swing here if Team Brundidge was able to get this point. Sweepers like it. Going a bit now. Trying to capitalize on that late finish. Has the curl. Doesn't have the distance. Ah, tough one. Jed threw that well enough to make it, I think. Just needed a little more sweep. Although, to be fair, if the sweepers go early on that, it stays out further and might not have the curl to make it. So maybe it just came up a bit light on that one, Jed did. That's a steal of 3 for sure. They're just looking to see if it's a steal of 4 or not. They may put a stick to these two. We'll stick around for that measurement. Yeah, it's not like Team Brundidge is playing that bad. It's just running into a team that's as consistent and as precise as Team Shuster, even with Skip John Shuster out of the picture right now. Chris Ply is doing a great job at keeping the game manageable. Chris, understanding that the team with 3 players is not at their most optimal. So he's calling a very not simple game, but a deliberately Oh, a deliberately not complex game, not taking on any difficult shots that they don't need to, forcing their opponent to force the issue. Taking off one guard at a time, not getting tempted by doubles or getting greedy with sweep calls, just making sure they're accomplishing mission number one for each shot. Another new task for John Landsteiner, supervising the measurement. It's like a carnival for John this weekend, getting to do all this vice skip stuff. I'm sure Mr. Landsteiner has played vice or even skip at multiple points in his curling journey, but not with Team Shuster, that's for sure. Blows right by the red one. It's going to be yellow in that measurement, but still, that means a steal of 3 for Team Shuster. Take a commanding 6-0 lead after 3 ends. Team Brundidge try to cook something up in the 4th when we come back.
The roaring game. We all love it, but sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. Don't get stuck in your curling club this year. Learn the game inside and out. Play for your favorite country and take the curling world by storm. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
Welcome back. It's 4th end. It's Team Shuster up 6 points on Jed Brundidge. Shuster really finding their groove here in the last few games. Quarterfinal this morning, similar story. Early lead. Steal in the 2nd end, same as this game. Whereas in the 3rd end here, Shuster, I think they made all 8 shots in a row. I'm not sure if they missed even one on their way to stealing 3 more points. Forcing Team Brundidge to some very difficult shots, which will continue here. Corner guard really got that one going. Bad release, I would think. When the rock's going that sideways at the end of its journey, it's either picked or the thrower has given it some over-the-top momentum, kind of twisted that rock, broke his wrist over it. However you want to describe it, that was dumped. And is going to sail into irrelevancy just over the hog line. Way too far to the right to be meaningful. Team Shuster, tell me if you've heard this before. Plugging the front of the house. First the top 4, then the top 8, and then they'll throw one top 12. John Landsteiner making it look easy. Keeping that line identical for his skip. Really important to help Chris Plies get a sense of what the ice is doing. That's not going to do. Hogged rock at this point, just not going to cut it. Yeah, you can see the body language on Team Brundidge. They know that their already very difficult task got that much harder. Not a good sign when you see a rock sailing through the rings. this point in the end. Looks like Jed's just waiting for Cameron to get his I forget what you call those things. Those slider, assister, crutch things. Ended up being a little ahead of the times. Those have been around for many, many years. And when they were first used, I remember people around the club saying, oh, that's just for mobility issues. And if it hurts to hold the broom at your side, well, it turns out sliding with one hand down on the ice like that ended up being a very legitimate way to slide. You actually saw European teams that become the norm for a long time. And I think it still is with a lot of, especially European teams. Kind of simulates that corn broom on the ice that you're just sort of leaning on. Keeps your shoulders square, keeps your shoulders at the same height, same level. Worth a try if you were ever thinking of trying one out. It's not for me, but I know that some people's slides are definitely improved by that contraption right there. Cameron's rock comes into the back of the rings, does not contact either of the stones in the front of the house. Free guard zone is now expired, so no point in throwing a guard, thinks Jed Brundidge. They're just going to peel it off anyway. Up 6-0. Any rock is your enemy if you're Team Shuster, if you're playing a reasonable, patient game. So they'll double their own off here. Really, those 2 rocks were just for show, just to occupy the center of the rings in case Team Brundidge was able to make something happen along the wings. Nothing did happen along the wings, so now Shuster says the safest thing for us is no rocks around at all. Doubles their off. Doubles the 2 Shuster stones off in the top of the forefoot. Gives them access to that back stone. Now with a clear house with rock already in the rings, Jed Brundidge will take advantage of this situation. It may seem minor, but they do have an advantage here. They have gained a slight advantage. Oh, playing it into the rings, I see. Yeah, may as well. They catch a piece of the rings. That's enough for second shot. Team Brundidge lying 1 and 2. Now with 4 rocks remaining per team, there is an open deuce on the sheet right now, but this will give Team Shuster 4 opportunities to group these stones and eventually make a double, which is the most likely outcome. It's pretty difficult to keep your rocks satisfyingly separated for more than a few shots at this level. Might even get the double right now. There's 1, there's 2. 10 feet of separation did not matter. Colin Huffman makes it happen. Bang, bang. Big weight, big distance, cross-house double takeout. And that's the type of team that Jed Brundidge has ran into in this semifinal here today. Nothing else to do besides use this super wide corner guard or make a freeze on this Shuster stone, just biting the 12-foot. Not working with much, Team Brundidge is. Just trying to stay focused, make one shot at a time. Realize they can't control whether Shuster's team is going to make their shots or not. It is frustrating to have 2 rocks in the rings like that so far apart. You think to yourself, oh, double's so difficult. We're going to survive at least this round of hits. Nope. Colin Huffman makes him go bang, bang. So difficult ask of Timothy Hodick there. Asking him to draw all the way to the side of the 12-foot. He does throw it heavy. Pretty significantly heavy as well. But that was a new spot in the ice. It is difficult to make a guess on a spot that you haven't thrown yet. You think it might slow down a little bit. Trying now to use that corner guard. Sweeper wants nothing to do with this one. I think that's another bomb. Ooh, even heavier than the last one. And Team Brundidge will call it quits. No need to frustrate themselves needlessly on the ice here. That's looking at open rings with 2 shots left. I think they're trusting Chris Plies is going to make his hits. Out of respect to their opponent, Team Brundidge will call it there. Shuster will enjoy some rest before they enter the championship final here at 2 p.m. Central Time. Just going to double check that time for you. Indeed it is. 2 p.m. Central Time is when we'll join Team Shuster and the winner of the other semifinal, Ethan Sampson and Daniel Casper, both out of Chaska, Minnesota. Sampson leads that one 3-2 in the 4th end. Casper has hammer. Go ahead and flip over to that game on the Curling Zone YouTube channel. If you're on curlingzone.com, just go to the game details and click watch live, the red YouTube logo. The women's semifinals on the other sheets. I'll give you a quick update there as well. Women's scores, we got Sarah Anderson playing Delaney Strauss. That's 2-2 tie. Anderson is hammer in the 4th. And Madison Bear and Kim Rhyme, 2-2 tie as well. Kim Rhyme has hammer in the 4th. Same thing. Go ahead and flip to those games if you want to keep up with the semifinal action here. Sunday, November 13th at the U.S. Curve Curling Apparel Contender Series. Thanks for joining me for this one. Shuster takes it 6-0.